It. My name is Mariko Hirokawa. I'm here for the live cast titled Healing Love, Past Love Wounds, so you can attract your soulmate through the inner dimension of yoga. And you might wonder, well, what does yoga have to do with attracting your soulmate? But the yoga that I speak of is not the stretching and breathing that we see often in the Instagram photos, and what we normally think of as yoga as something that you do on the mat to get flexible. The physical dimension of yoga is actually a very tiny branch of yoga known as hatha yoga. And the yoga that I speak of is a larger yoga that is we call maha yoga. And Valentine's Day can be one of those days that triggers us, just like the holidays. If you've had past relationships and if you've have wounds around past relationships that, you know, didn't go as you hoped, then we may have built up some scar tissues around this topic. And I've been working with a lot of very powerful, successful women. And one of the things I find with them is that they know exactly what to do for career success, for business success. But in this dimension of the relationship, somehow this kind of ABC, the strategic way of approaching success doesn't work in the relationship arena. And because relationship it requires us to relinquish some of our control. And I think a lot of us, it scares us, this losing, the relinquishing of control, because deep down inside, a lot of us are control freaks, right? So I wanted to do this live cast, and I know it's a very sensitive topic on this very kind of, hyped up day of the Valentine's Day. And so if you're feeling, triggered, or a longing come up within you, I just want you to be with it and just take a moment to breathe and open yourself and take a moment to acknowledge yourself for just going there. Because first thing is that a lot of us have not gone to put attention on relationship itself because it's painful, because of the past wounds. And there's a saying in the inner dimension of yoga that, life only gives you what you feel worthy of giving, and also life only gives you that which you focus on. So it is important that we focus on the possibility of being able to attract a love into your life, even if it's painful. So I want to first, let's acknowledge yourself for being willing to go there, to taking it from, that's just immediately taking it from the realm of impossibility into possibility, just putting your focus there despite whatever it may trigger within you. And so the second thing also is to really acknowledge that our desires are, it's holy, it's sacred and good, and it is how life informs us of where we need to go in life. And so we need to acknowledge our desires, our deep desires. In the yogic school, there's one school of thought that goes, desire is, we should do everything we can to overcome our desire. Desire is bad because it creates more karma, something like that. So, but in the visionary yoga, I believe, desire, the deep desire, is like the Latin definition of desire. The original word of desire comes from that Latin word, which means of the Father. It is very divine. It comes from, a very cosmic source, right? And you, as a human being, you are the creator in human form. And so, of course, that desire, that deep heart's longing, should be honored. And we should distinguish between compulsive desires of the senses that take us nowhere, and the deep desire that is a driving force for life, right? So, number two, it is important also it's really useful to give whatever we're experiencing, the emotions, the feelings, uh, call it what it is, call it by a name. There's been a study done that shows, it is called affect labeling in the psychotherapy dimension, but when you give your feelings a name, and you're willing to call it by the name, a lot of the anxiety, the charge around the emotion begins to dissipate. And it's very important to take the charge out of the emotion so that we can see things as they are. what happens when we are triggered is there is a self that is attached to that story, right? So there is a story that we're telling ourselves about this particular situation and why we cannot manifest, why we have such trouble manifesting the soulmate, why we haven't, why we've been single. Many stories about that. And so there is a self, an identity attached to that story. One of the keys to being able to open yourself and really accelerate this ability, your ability to manifest what you want from your heart's desire, is to create a narrative outside of that self that is attached to the old story, right? And so instead of instead of making ourselves bad, right, it's important to create a space between that old self that is attached to the limiting stories that we've told ourselves and our true self, which is the inner witness, which is a much vaster dimension of our being, right? So it's important to shift our identity from the self attached to the limiting old story and a deeper, vaster dimension of ourselves from which we can create a much greater possibility, right? And so whatever the trauma you experienced, whatever the hurt you experienced in your past relationship, it is possible to create a new narrative around this arena of relationship. So let's step into that possibility, right? And so I want to do with you an exercise, a healing exercise to help begin to dissolve some of the crust around this old scar tissue of our old past wounds. So we all have emotional blocks around relationships. I think most of us do, if we're honest with ourselves, and one of the greatest ways to, and we might have done therapy and a lot of different things to try to work through the past trauma. But what I found is one of the greatest tools is we have it right with us, even closer than our own breath. It is our own pure awareness. And the thing is that we normally are not with this awareness in its purity. We usually work with it in its modified form, in the form of thoughts. But when awareness becomes thought, then it has a particular direction and it's already moving. But awareness in its purity, awareness that has not yet become an emotion or a thought, is very deeply healing. And it has the power to remove the charge from the old emotional trauma and heal it, right? Because awareness is is connected to the fabric of being itself. Awareness with a capital A, I'm saying. So one of the greatest thing in yoga is we bypass this busy monkey mind. In psychotherapy, you go through the mind, through the avenue of the mind. And sometimes it can take very long going through that route because the mind is a labyrinth. And in the process of doing that, we might be triggering, all kinds of old things and bringing the old kind of the things that were finished, we reactivate those unwanted vibrations into the present, and then we have to work through that. So it takes very long. But in yoga, we can bring it into the somatic realm of the body. So here's how we're going to do this, okay? So I want you to be in a, refresh your posture, right? Let's create a yogic asana so you can sit or stand with your spine elongated to create an alert state of being. Let's take a nice deep breath and roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and lengthen and drop the shoulders. Sometimes when we get very tense and getting into the survival mindset, we're breathing shallowly and the shoulders are up here and it's very erratic breathing. So let's take a nice full, right, open up the cycle of your breath. And as you exhale, follow the breath all the way into the abyss of nothingness. Is very useful skill in manifesting anything in your life, to be able to become nothing, become a nobody in no time, and merge with that which is not. And it's one of the greatest skills, I tell you, to really be able to leave this small identity of the personality self, because all of your hangups, all of your problems, all of your limitations are are living with the personality self, right? That we drag through time, space, reality. So first thing is, right, merge into nothingness. Allow yourself to step into the unknown, become nothing, become a nobody. Leave all the limiting identifications behind. And you might already feel much lighter, right? Because all the emotional trauma around past relationships are attached to the small self. Take another deep breath and just relax your body. Relax your body, but bring up this heightened awareness. It's very possible, and it's a rare but actually very natural state. Right? It's only rare because we all run around so stressed out. Just lay all the stresses and the limiting personality behind and step into being a nobody for a moment. No title, no nationality, no, you know, nationality, no sex, no orientation, just pure throb of life, right? And now this throb of life happens to have this body. You're wearing this body like you're wearing your shirt or an overcoat. Take a deep breath and just feel your physical body that you are wearing as a wonderful vehicle on this journey of life. Take a deep breath. Right? Just by doing that, you create a little space of awareness and between the true you and this kind of garment of the personality you. Right? Now, in this physical body, which is the vehicle for the personality you to exist in, right? Can you identify, right, when you think about manifesting your relationship, when you think about taking actions such as, going out on a date or putting yourself out there in the dating app, or going to a networking, maybe it's like a speed dating thing, or whatever you think of as, putting yourself out there to manifest your soulmate. What gets triggered? And see if you can, instead of going to your mind, to the old story, I want you to stay out of your mind and physicalize it. Where do you feel this resistant emotion? Is it in your heart? Is it in your jaws, your neck, your shoulders? Is it in a little lower down in your belly? Just take a deep breath. Take a few deep breaths to do a body scan and identify exactly where it is in your physiology. And maybe you can get even more specific, like, does that feeling, sensation of the emotion have a shape in your particular body, right? Does it have an outline? Does it have a density, a texture? See if you can really tune into your physical body and identify exactly where this pattern is living in your body. Yes, stay out of your mind, stay in your body. Take a deep breath and see if you can just go right there to the epicenter of your physicality, where you're holding this resistant emotion. Okay? If you can identify, see if you can put your finger right exactly where the scar tissue is, of the epicenter of where this pattern is living. And just take a deep breath, physicalize it, and you're not trying to make it go away. That's very important. You're not trying to make it go away. You're simply sending pure awareness, showering waves and waves of pure awareness right on that is exact physical spot where that resistant emotion is living. So go there right now with me and see if we can put a number to the intensity of emotion, the intensity of the sensation you're feeling exactly in that part of the body. On a scale of 0 to 10, what is it? Is it a 9? Is it a 7? Is it a 5? And just stay with it for a moment and continue radiating waves and waves of pure Awareness. Awareness is beingness. Beingness is pure, unconditional acceptance of exactly where you are. Send it pure waves and waves. That's it. You're doing great. At this moment, what is the intensity of the sensation now? If it was like a 5 and it's gone down to a 3, it's good. It means you are disarming the pattern. And we don't know how long it took to build this pattern up. It may be years, it may be decades, right? It may be lifetimes, this pattern. So as you hold your attention, attention is like pure light, and light makes the shadow of, everything that is dark in your life that you consider as a problem, a challenge, a resistant dimension of your life, that is a shadow dimension of your life, right? And you only need to turn on the light of pure unconditioned awareness is the most transformative tool in the entire universe. You might think that, if you went to uh, a seminar or whatever and you experience tremendous transformation, that it's the seminar that created the transformation. But no, it is your awareness, your attention that created that transformation. So let's persist just for a few more moments and just holding your attention on this pattern with absolute unconditioned pure awareness. Breathe. And as you exhale, imagine like dissolving, breathing out molecules of that darkness, breathing out remnants of that old pattern, which is beginning to dissolve as we speak, moment by moment. That's it. You're doing great. Stay with me. Stay in the process, please. Stay out of your mind and in your body, just sending waves and waves of pure acceptance, pure awareness, pure unconditional awareness, which is another name for love. And then if the sensation has gone below a 3, you can test it by just imagining yourself in the same scenario one more time, you know, doing that exact same action of going out together. Or maybe it's you've gone all the way to, meeting the person or meeting prospective, candidates for being your soulmate. And maybe there is a moment of resistance that comes up in that process. So whatever is that experience that has brought up that resistance, just stay with, just evoke that moment and see if the same pattern, same emotion is triggered. If it is triggered, then we need to do this process one more time and continue to shower waves and waves of pure unconditional awareness right into that physical body. It's important that you stay out of your mind. Yes, and this is one way you can melt away the emotional blocks towards anything in your life. But the relationship is a very potent arena because it's where we get the maximum juice of life in, right? The emotional juice of life comes from this relationship arena of life. And so um, this is one practice you can do in your meditation to dissolve the scar tissues you have built around past issues. The other uh, tool I want to give you is journaling. Journaling is very, very powerful, but not just any journaling. Um, I highly recommend you sitting down, actually evoking, right? If you've done the work to just focus on the possibility of actualizing your soulmate in your life, then invoke the presence of that being. So you should be able to name the attributes of the ideal person, right? Who would be your soulmate? Who is your soulmate? Who exists right now in space-time reality? It's just that you have not connected yet vibrationally, right? So all we need to do is create the vibrational bridge between that person who already exists now and to create a bridge, a vibrational bridge between you and this special person. So you should be able to name the attributes of the person because the qualities of your soulmate is like the GPS address, right, of that being, right? So what are the, personality traits? What are the soul qualities of that person that you want to magnetize into your life? Right? What does he or she love? What are some of her hobbies? What are some of her habits? What are some of her, tendencies and traits? And what does she love? What does he love? Right? What are her interests? And what are some of the ways you see yourself interacting with your soulmate, right? So it's great to first of all journal on these characteristic traits and how you might, maybe writing a scenario of how you might meet. This is one way of journaling, right? Another way is actually to personify this soulmate. Imagine, he or she sitting right across from your table, and you sit down and you write a very intimate, heartfelt love letter. And I've had a few clients who have manifested their soulmate just from a daily writing an intimate, heartfelt love letter to their soulmate every day, using their journaling in this way. Why does this? Why is this so potent a tool? No, why is this such a potent way of journaling? First, you are it's second, it's talking in the second person, right? And you are really uh, talking to you're also receiving, you're drawing the person even more into your intimate, you're making her real, making him real, right, in your life. And your brain often doesn't know the difference between the imagined and when you're really very good at connecting on an emotional level, there'll be a vibrational connection as if that person you're really talking to across, a real coffee table, or dining table, and the person is literally there. So the key to this is really filling in the details and really using your imagination to invoke that person's presence there. I've been using this to really draw this way of journaling to really draw the inner answers that I've been wanting to have from my higher self. And it's been amazing to really excavate some of the knowing that I didn't know I knew, right? So it's a wonderful way for manifesting your soulmate. And you'll feel it when in the process of writing the journal, in the first time you do it, you might not feel the immediate connection, but it is in doing it, consistently, daily, that you start to really build a relationship with this being, you know? And so I recommend keeping this up for like 21 days of writing a, a daily love letter to your, and like a diary entry, and feel the intimate presence of your soulmate right there. And then in the outer world, you start to take action. So it's very important to do both, right? The inner work of clearing the inner cobwebs, of healing your inner scar tissue, doing this, the pattern dissolving. I call this peace processing, by the way, the meditation I took you through, as well as the journaling. These are the inner work you can do, but also take bold action in the outer world. And it's even in doing your outer steps. It's important to use your intuition, right? And also know that in the realm of the relationship manifestation, there is an element of the karmic timeline, right? The divine timeline, because a person is not like a job, or where taking ABCD steps, the linear steps, bring about the result, right? Manifesting a soulmate has this other dimension of the karmic timing, because it's your karmic timing for the right time when you are ripe to receive a relationship, and it's also his or her divine karmic timing. And there is kind of like that person's timeline and your personal timeline, and there is a right moment in which, when these two karmic timelines, there's that right moment when the two click. And so we never know when that can happen. So it's important to know this ahead of time and to be patient when the divine timing can click. It's true for any relationship, like the guru disciple relationship also. Like it's said that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So there is an element of your divine karmic timing for you to have an enlightened being in your life in a personal relationship kind of a way. Right. So the soulmate relationship is just like this. There is, especially because there is that soul dimension, and it's probably not the first time you've ever met in the physical body. Right? In past lifetimes, it may be you may have had other relationships, and you both have had to go through certain life events, certain learnings, certain evolutionary processes in order for you to arrive at that right divine timing. So let's be patient, but continue to take dynamic, it's important to own this also. And there is a self-effort element to it involved. It's not just divine timing. So it's important to be both open, to be patient, and to continuously take bold action in this arena. So I hope I've been helpful in, just kind of opening up this arena of the yoga of relationships. It is a very sensitive area. And if you have any questions that are, maybe specific to you, that are, that you want to get on more of a one-on-one call, I invite you to join me I have 3 spots available this month for the Vision Accelerator session. This is where you and I show up one-on-one for an entire 45 minutes, and I listen to, your vision, and we clarify it. We, identify the obstacles, and we choose. I share with you one needle moving action you can take to accelerate and really take a quantum leap to manifesting your heart's vision. So if you'd like to book that, you can go to visionarysession.com, www.visionarysession, that's singular, visionarysession.com, and you can book your February or March session right now. And otherwise, I hope I've been of service, and I'd love to hear in the comments below, what was one takeaway that kind of clicked for you in this session that you'll implement in your journey to manifesting that soulmate. I really hope that, I've been able to at least take it from the realm of possibility into probability for you. And now let's take it from the realm of probability into the realm of inevitability for you, because I know that person is waiting for you. And it's important that we work through our scar tissue to a place of openness so that our own resistance doesn't get in the way of receiving that being that is meant for us. So, wishing you a very beautiful and soulful month of February. Thank you so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you at another time on Visionary Yoga TV.